listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky.
I want to say welcome to another edition of the Breakfast Hour this morning. It is election day right in the Grand Cayman Islands, and of course many persons are out for the poll this morning. But of course right here this morning, it's Wellness Wednesday, dubbed for Flashpoint, not election day, but Wellness Wednesday. But we'll talk a little bit more about election later on. But Lady Elise, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Good morning. It is a fabulous Wellness Wednesday this morning, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joining our listeners and viewers. And at this time, I want to invite you to be a part of the conversation. Let us know what's happening in your neck of the woods here in the Cayman Islands. It's a public holiday, yes, because it is a general election where Caymanians will be heading to the polls to select their leader. So thank you for tuning in. Dr. K has joined us, and we have to stay well. That's what it's all about, Wellness Wednesday.
Well, all right. Having said that, Lady Elise, we go for our devotional, and when we come back, we get right into the meat of the matter. It's Wellness Wednesday, right here on Flashpoint. Of course, after these messages, when we come back.
Good morning. This is day 30. Restore to me the joy of your salvation. Psalm 51, verse 12. A lost experience written by Paul Van Gorder. A pastor in Los Angeles visited a man and asked if he was a Christian. Oh, yes. I was a member of a church in Ohio, he said. And when I asked for my letter of church membership before coming west, I sat down and wrote out my Christian experience. I took them both and put them in a little box. I would like to show them to you. But when he got to the box, it was evident that a mouse had gnawed its way into the container and destroyed the papers. He said to the pastor, I have lost my Christian experience and my church letter. If all that the man lost was those two documents, it was no great loss. Many put great stock in a baptismal certificate or a church letter, but have experienced no genuine work of grace in their heart. Only faith in the Savior will provide salvation. Genuine Christians can also take a warning from this story. Their once vital experience may have been put in a box and allowed to deteriorate. They have failed to keep it fresh and vibrant by daily fellowship with the Lord through prayer and Bible study. If this describes you, cry with David, restore to me the joy of your salvation. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Show the way that Jesus has trod. Then I will tell of your saving grace until the day when I see your face. Our quote this morning reads, faith is a creed. Faith in a creed can go stale. Faith in Christ can be fresh every day. End quote.
Not hearing it. Not hearing it.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out away. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, hover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take for yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Okay, okay.
Mics are open.
It's Wellness Wednesday, and I hope you're doing well. We are doing well on our side, and I don't know what you're up to this morning. If you're in the Grand Cayman Islands and you're enjoying the public holiday, well, say thumbs up to you because today is election day right here. Persons are heading to the polls. The poll stations have been open, and of course, they are registering their vote. That's what's happening in the Grand K. But while you're doing that, I hope you have tuned in to the breakfast hour from far and near because the topic that Dr. K is going to be discussing today affects us, a lot of us, if not us, somebody we know. Now, Dr. K is a board certified physician with years of experience. It's not today she's doing this, it's a long, long, long time. And so she is here to join us. Although she wouldn't mind seeing you in her office, she prefers if you take care of your health. And so this morning she's joining us with some crucial tips that we need to take care of our stomach. You know, I rub my elbow and it's like gas, 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 all
All right.
gas. Or anyway, Mikey G.
Well, this morning, it's Wellness Wednesday, as we said before, and of course today, as you said, election going on. But we have to check our health because I know that some of us, when we are finished, are not going to be able to digest some of the election choices, and some are going to be very disappointed, while some are going to be very excited. So, having said that, Doc will come on and help us to understand better how to take care of our health. Maybe not in this sense so much, but maybe tell us a few things of how to take care of ourselves
Yes.
overall. All right, when we come back.
Okay, Dr. K, what do you have to share with us? It's exciting times. I'm rubbing my elbow and saying, I feel like I have some gas and my knee, gas in my knee. How are you doing today, Dr. K?
Good morning, good morning. I'm good, Lady Elise. How are you, Mikey
I'm
G?
fine, thank you, this morning, Doc. And when you come on every morning, I feel better by the seconds because I know that I'm going to hear something new that will take better care of myself. And so I'll be going out with more knowledge. When I feel my elbow hurting me, I know it's not gas.
Well, this morning we'll be talking about GERD. Basically, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Same thing people call acid reflux. And I'm sure you've heard of acid reflux constantly. So today we're going to be talking about acid reflux.
All right.
Now, acid reflux is something that affects a lot of people. Whether you're old, you're young, you're in between, you can be affected by acid reflux. So basically, what is acid reflux? Acid reflux is basically a condition in which the acid that is in your stomach flows back up into your esophagus. So we know that we have acid in our stomach and we're made that way because the acid is necessary to digest the food that we eat. So when it flows back up in our esophagus and into our throat, it's called acid reflux. Okay? And because we do not have acid in our esophagus or in our throat, whenever you have that sensation or whenever the acid flows back up, you will know because you will taste that acidic content, you will taste the acidic fluid, it will burn a little bit, just usually transient, but it will definitely give you symptoms, okay? So some people feel like they're having heartburn, Some people feel like it's coming back up in their stomach. Some people even feel like they're having chest pains when the acid comes back up into the stomach. It's uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily, as you would say, it's a disease, but it's a condition, it's a medical condition. A lot of us get it all the time, but it becomes chronic when it's happening more often for a week, and it's affecting our quality of life. So yes, almost everybody will get it from time to time. The acid will flow back up into the stomach, into the esophagus, but it's when it becomes chronic, it's happening all the time, and it's affecting your quality of life. Okay, so basically, how do you know you have acid reflux? What's the symptoms? You'll basically, sometimes you can just get a backwash where the fluid from your stomach comes up into your esophagus. And you might get that burning feeling in your esophagus. Some people say, oh my gosh, I have heartburn because they're feeling the acid burn in the stomach. And some people can get chest pain. It's not from the heart, but it feels like it's coming from the heart because the esophagus is burning so much. It hurts and it feels like they're having a heart attack. So they're thinking that they're having chest pain when it's not really chest pain. Some people can get nausea because of the fluid that's flowing up. They want to throw up. And if it comes further up, you might have a sore throat. And things like asthma it can aggravate an asthmatic condition. So yes, the thing about GERD though is that it gets worse at nights. Okay, so when you're lying down is when you tend to feel it. So we always say if you're going to your bed, try not to eat too late at night before you fall asleep because the acid will flow back in your esophagus. You might get it after you eat a large fatty meal and even bending over. People who are obese, people who drink and smoke are more at risk for getting reflux. And we said before that children do get reflux, right?
So
It is norm.
so doc, you're not recommending. Apologize for that. We're not recommending eating late at night based on what you just said a while ago. If you eat at a certain time, it tends to flow back.
If you eat right, if you when you eat and go lie down, if
Right.
you're going to stop all night, it's fine. But most people, when you go, at night, people go to bed. So
But
eating and lying down,
I
you
eat
will
at night,
definitely.
doc, and so when I eat at night, I just have this a recipe for myself because I have the knowledge that food takes digestion, requires digestion, and sleeping the body rests, and so digestion do not really is most active at that time your body goes to rest. So the food is basically sitting there. I would eat and then I'd stay up for at least 2 or 3 hours afterwards, and then say that's my way of doing it. But then I don't think that's recommended because it says that in this sense, I am not burning any calories. I'm not burning and using much energy at that time. So I might not want to eat at night. I don't know if that's a right something that we may need to look at.
Well, it's always better not to eat late at night, as you say, because you want to have a relatively empty stomach to go to bed. And so your body is in a, remember, when you're sleeping, you tend to repair. You don't want to give your body a lot of work where you're spending time trying to send the blood to your stomach to be digesting food when it could be going elsewhere to actually repair. And furthermore, as you said before, rightly, you're not using up the energy. So basically, when you eat late at night, you tend to be storing. Okay.
Most people, there's a saying that people say, and I in my Jamaican circles, that says it's hard to work so hard and then dead from poorer blood, meaning you don't eat nothing at all and you die from hunger. So most people just like to eat, so they have a full stomach. If they die, they go with a full stomach.
Okay.
I see Dr. K trying to wrap her mind
I'm
around
just
that.
saying, I'm just saying that's a thought. That's a
And,
thought.
and you know, And medically speaking, I'd rather you not have a full stomach if you die, because resuscitation is easier if your stomach is empty.
Well, I'm just talking about some persons who have that notion.
And
Re-
speaks to all the importance knowledge is. Knowledge is power, and that is why when we have the conversation, is to dispel the myths that we do have in our own self. And we believe certain things, and then the medical knowledge just disproves that idea. So we don't go to bed with a full stomach. But also, Dr. K, is this condition unique to a particular age group? Do you find that there are young people getting this condition as well, younger persons?
well, as I say, it doesn't really have a restriction in terms of age, because babies get reflux,
Okay,
especially those who are born prematurely and the esophagus is not developed properly, then they
right.
can get it. So basically, what it is that there's the intestine, and you have the mouth going down to the esophagus, and then you have the stomach. And where the stomach, the esophagus meet the stomach, you have a sphincter, which we call the esophageal sphincter, the lower esophageal sphincter, because there's one on top too. So what happens is that the sphincter is supposed to close, like a one way, one and no return valve in your pipe. It's
Yes.
supposed to close. So when the acid comes up, it's not supposed to allow it to go through. But there are things that can cause it to relax, and the acid can go through. So some of the things that can cause it to relax, for example, if you smoke, smoking tends to relax the sphincter, and as a result of that, um, fluid will go up. If you're obese, what can happen is that you can get something we call a hiatus hernia, which is basically going to affect the closer or the sphincter itself, and then fluid can go up. Things like pregnancy can cause, because remember with pregnancy, there are hormones that are released that causes relaxation for the baby to come out. So yes, it can cause the sphincter to relax and fluid to come up. Obesity, the pregnant abdomen, big abdomen, will more likely to cause contents to go back up into the stomach, because you're increasing the intra-abdominal pressure, and as a result of that, the contents can go back up into the esophagus. And the esophagus is not, the lining of the esophagus is different from the lining of the stomach. The lining of the stomach to is made to accommodate the acid that's there. The esophageal lining is totally different. So when fluid goes back up into the esophagus, it's going to cause a problem. So what will happen eventually? You can get things like esophagitis, where you have inflammation of the esophagus because the acid is going back up into the stomach. Okay, and then eventually what can happen is that you can get something called Barrett's esophagus, and that is because of the repeated um, exposure to the acid in the stomach. Now the esophagus is going to look like the stomach. So the esophageal lining is going to it's going to change to look like the lining of the stomach.
So,
And
go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc. Please.
this can predispose you to cancerous conditions, because what you're doing is changing the lining because of the prolonged exposure to the acid, just like the stomach.
So you're saying that when somebody say I have an ulcer stomach, I get an ulcer, and you need treatment for an ulcer. Is that what you're talking about? The acid
No,
damaging?
an ulcer is different. It's ulcer, ULCER. That's different, and that you can get the ulcer in the stomach, in the duodenum, and that is like a sore. So that's different from reflux. Reflux is just buildup of acid, and the acid going back up into your esophagus. But when you get an ulcer, it's like you have a raw area in the stomach or in the duodenum, and basically it's like it's eroding, it's getting worse because of your acid production and the acid. So your stomach lining is lined. There's no tear in there, there's
So,
no sore in
so,
there.
so
Once
you're,
you have a little sore or a little irritation can lead to an ulcer, which is a little sore, and as a result of that you can get the pain. So
you're,
that's why some people will say when they eat it gets worse. Some people will say when they're hungry it gets worse, depending on where it is, and they can get something to neutralize the acid and it will help. Go
here's,
ahead.
here's where the conversation comes from. That some people say, I'm not an early eater. All right, so I'm gonna say that as a disclaimer first. And so by not being an early eater, persons will say to me, "Hey, Mikey, you're going to you're going to develop an ulcer because you don't eat um, early or you don't eat like that." So they say that I am now worried now that if I don't eat, I'm going to develop this condition. Do I have a real worry? Mike?
When you say you don't eat, you mean you don't eat for days? You go through
I
days
don't no,
without eating?
I don't eat early. Like I eat at 10 o'clock in the day, sometimes 10:30.
But and if that is your habit of not eating until 10 o'clock,
Yes.
it shouldn't cause a problem because your stomach should be basically nothing is wrong with a prolonged fast because what you're doing is emptying your stomach and giving your stomach a chance to rest, and you're actually burning your you're increasing your basically burning your excess calories without taking in. So you're basically in a deficit, and that can help with weight loss, and that can help with your body too in terms of giving
Well,
your
and just to think about it, I don't need any weight loss considering
no,
my
you don't.
body.
You don't need any weight loss, but your body will definitely. That's not putting you at risk for an ulcer because what you're doing is not increasing the acid. The acid in your stomach is normal. Your acid in your stomach increases when you put a meal in your stomach.
I see
So
ladies
there's no
laughing at me,
meal.
doc, so I'm not going to say
It's
anything else.
always there. The acid is always in your stomach, but it increases when there's a meal, especially a fatty meal in your stomach.
I was saying I see ladies laughing at me, so I won't ask another question because it doesn't.
Well, no, actually, what comes to mind and what has been, in my thoughts is how anxiety and stress can also affect your stomach and persons, how and I know Dr. K is going to come to this
Oh,
because every
right, which
week,
is true. And let me talk about it now
yes,
because our stomach is lined by something we have prostaglandins. We have
yes.
mucus lining our stomach, right?
Mhm.
And we have prostaglandins actually helping to produce the acid and the mucus and everything that lines the stomach. So even though our stomach is acidic, it is coated, it's protected.
Mhm.
Okay, now when you're actually in having anxiety and stress, what you're doing is actually decreasing that protective mechanism in your stomach. So your bare stomach is going to be, or your cells in your stomach, or the lining of your stomach is going to be exposed to this acid. And it's exposure to this acid which is going to damage the walls and cause the problems, the ulcer.
And just now when you mentioned the beer stomach, doc, those people who drink beer and a lot of alcohol.
No, BARE.
And I don't want
No,
Dr. K to.
I'm not going to say that's not what you said. But I'm just saying, when you said that, beer stomach, you just went to beer, not the, yes. But just to say,
Yeah,
people
well,
just
the
went
bare
to
stomach is the
alcoholic
big
intake
stomach,
right
because
away.
of
For
the
me,
increased alcohol intake,
yes.
increase alcohol. So as a result of that, you're increasing your carbs and you're increasing your fat deposits.
And so Dr. K, as you mentioned all these issues, I don't want to dwell on it so much, but it's one of those things that we can control. And if we can find peace, even though we are having our different circumstance, so that it doesn't affect our health, because it's such a delicate balance. Sometimes we are going and we are so busy, and apart from not getting a chance to eat, or the anxiety, everything just makes us unwell. So it's important. And that's why Dr. K comes here every single week without fail. And sometimes she reminds us of the very same thing, which I'm sure she's going to remind us about: exercise, rest, and what's you coined the word prolonged stress. Is it
Correct. Prolonged
prolonged?
stress.
Yes, and
Yes,
how we
because
deal
stress
with
is
it.
not bad. Stress is not bad. Stress is what gets us up, moving, doing the things that we need to do. So stress is not a bad thing. It's when it's prolonged. It's when it's affecting us negatively. Then there's a problem, because every day, everything that we do, we're basically in a stressful environment for everything, and so it's how we deal with our stress. It's how we handle the stressful life, or the stressful um, situations that we're placed in, the stressful stimuli, how we handle those are what are that's how that is what determine the changes that we have in our body. And people who know themselves and know when they're going through stress will know what's happened to them. Their heart rate increase, sometimes they have breakouts, sometimes they have headaches, they have different things that affects their body whenever they're stressed. And so, yes, anxiety, stress can actually cause you to have um, damage in terms of your body, and it can actually help with producing an ulcer. The thing about reflux is that reflux tend to be more of a lifestyle, not necessarily always lifestyle, because it's what we do that can actually help or can worsen this condition. So it's not like something that you can do. You can help, you can do lifestyle changes to actually um, treat your GERD, your reflux. If you smoke, stop smoking. If you drink, stop drinking. If you're eating late at night, stop doing that. If you're obese, then lose some weight. There's some things that you can do. If you're eating a high fatty diet, then you do that. If you're eating and going to sleep, stop doing that. Try to lie down on the left side of your stomach. Prop yourself up with a pillow. But the thing about it is that there are lots of things that you can do to decrease this condition. So you don't necessarily have to, or every time it happens, go to your doctor. There's so many things that you can do at home to decrease this condition. If it's chronic though, and you're having this going on, and it's affecting your sleep, it's affecting you negatively, then have a talk with your doctor. But there's simple things that you can even take. Some things like Tums, antacid over the counter. I mean, you don't have anything, Pepto Bismol will work. There are certain things that you can take that can actually help if you're having reflux at home. There are actually homemade stuff that you can use, at home to help with these. Eat the pawpaw tends to be a good thing that you can eat that will help with the acid reflux. So your diet, there are things that you do though. For example, foods that can actually worsen GERD, like chocolate or coffee or garlic or mint or stuff that can, if you have the condition, it can help because it causes relaxation of your sphincter. And this is just things that are taken in excess. But yes, you can control what's happening in terms of your body. And this is one condition that you can help to mitigate. Reflux is something that only when it gets really, really bad that it affects your life, and it affects your life adversely, that you actually need to go to your doctor. So mild conditions you can treat at home.
There you go. There you have it, of course. So listeners and viewers this
Lifestyle
morning.
changes, right? And if it has gotten really, really bad, you might have to do it. And there's where there is, you're taking medication, taking a lot of drugs, your PPIs, your pantoprazole, your lansoprazole, your Nexium, your all of those zoles that you take, that those are PPIs, proton pump inhibitors. and those are very good. But if it's not working and you're taking those things over a long period, the doctor might recommend surgery if it's not working. But as I said, mild lifestyle changes, taking care of your body. We don't want you to get to that stage, people. Exercise, eat a healthy diet.
Exercise too.
Yes, exercise, eating a healthy diet, having your decreasing your fat intake, managing your stress,
Yes.
getting your vitamin D. All of these things are important when it comes onto your body functions. We all need to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Believe me, every week and everything that we say will always go back to the fundamentals. Drinking your water, always go back to the fundamental principles of lifestyle changes
I see
and
from,
healthy living.
well, Doc, I know from the idea of drinking water, I learned this thing, water is good for headache, and it's good for my blood flow and circulation. Water is good for just about
Lubricating,
everything.
lubricating your joints.
90, how many percent, they say 70, is it 70 or 80% of our body weight is just water, or
70.
75?
70, yes.
80% of our body weight is just water. Man, when I listen to that conversation, I just say, you know what? And I didn't like to drink water a lot, and I started drinking it. I realized that when I had headaches, and I started telling persons that when you drink a lot of water, it reduces the chance of getting headaches, or if you have headaches, it can be a cause of lack of not drinking enough water. And somebody say, "You're the water doctor." I'm the person who always introduce water as the first choice if there's a problem. And just to hear you speak about the potency and the need for water as a big part of our diet and our health care, it is, for me, a little refreshing to know that actually I was thinking about these things before and now being affirmed and confirmed on these actions.
And that is true. Water inside and out. So not just water as you take in, you drink, but also water as you use it outside of your body. Whether you're going to be soaking in it, swimming in it, bathing in it, these are all things that are good in terms of the benefits of water. And I can tell you that reflux can cause this little bad thing we call halitosis. I've
Yep.
spoken about halitosis before, but reflux can actually cause bad breath.
You're
Halitosis
talking
is
about exactly
breath.
that, Doc.
Say that again.
You're talking about exactly. For those who know, they know.
What?
I just want to.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
a
know,
term.
like,
It's a term that is popularly used when you said about halitosis and bad breath. It's called, many persons call it exactly, but it's one of those terms that is, it's not a medical term. Though.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I'm just seeing that you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but that's fine. It's one of those. After here, I will talk about that. And but when you mention halitosis, that's what people call exactly. The common person, not in the medical.
Okay, yes. So we need to understand that because yeah, so reflux can actually cause bad breath. So yes, it's something that we need to take under control. And as I said to you, just reflux alone coming up, the acid, your esophagus exposing to that acid can actually cause changes in your esophagus, which can be precancerous or even can lead to some of those malignancies that we don't want. And this is prolonged exposure, guys. Not immediately, because we all get reflux all the time. But it's prolonged exposure. We get reflux and we realize a little acid come up. I mean, that's another thing too. One, overeating too can cause reflux because you're actually increasing the abdominal contents, the stomach contents, and it can flow back up. So yes, we need to be able to take care of ourselves, temperate in everything that we do.
temperance, 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 healthcare. I hope you guys are not taking it lightly. So important that we take care of our health, and because we don't have, the quality of our lives will be affected when we don't take care of our health. Thank you so much, Dr. K, for sharing that very important information with us. We have heard so many times people saying, "I have GERD," I have, and
Reflux.
it's so uncomfortable. You have to watch what you eat and so forth. Now we know a lot more about what is involved in the and what we need to do to take care and minimize the risk for us developing GERD. Thank you so much, Dr. K.
There are some questions in the chat, Lady Elise.
Oh,
If you're looking at our YouTube chat, I want to say good morning to our YouTube persons who are joining us, or listeners who are joining, viewers who are joining us this morning. I want to say good morning to you. I want to say good morning to Jen this morning. Good morning, Jen. How are you doing? And of course, she's one of the persons who lock on to to this
oh
breakfast
yes.
hour morning, and of course, will always pay attention to the wealth of information that comes from Dr. K. All right. So some of the
Yes.
persons are asking a few questions in the chat.
Yes. How long of a time period would it be considered to be chronic? How long do you have to be having GERD?
Okay, so if you're having a condition going on for 6 weeks to 2 months, 3 months, and it's affecting your life, so you can have GERD, and it's just once in a while you're having it. That's not a problem. So I have reflux today, and I'm good, and another 2, 3 months pass, and I'm getting some acid reflux. That's not a big deal. But if you're having this condition going on for more than 3 times a week for more than 6 weeks, then we say that that's going on chronic. And it doesn't matter, once it's affecting your daily lifestyle, you realize every time you lie down, you're having this issue. So, as I'm saying, if you're having it more than 3 times for the week, going on for more than 6 weeks, with not taking anything or even taking over the counter medication, then we know that there's an issue, and we call that chronic. And then that's when you need to seek medical attention. But having reflux once in a while, even for years, that's not, we don't call that. Yeah, you have a little acid reflux, but we wouldn't call it a condition that necessitates medical attention, because everybody gets it.
So yeah, you heard it right here on Flashpoint this morning. Thank you, Dr. K. Is there any more questions that we have, Lady Elise?
No more questions. I'm checking the chat to see if there are any more questions. So
Well, one person says that these are useful information, and thanks for the information that you have sent out this morning, Dr. K. It's very useful, and of course potent enough that they would of course benefit from it this morning. Having said that, thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. Of course, those who are joining us have joined us on www.flashpointmedia.ky, where our web radio continues to play all day, every day, all week, and hear all these programs while they are live on YouTube and our social media platforms every single day of the week. I want to say thank you for joining us this morning. Indeed, this morning was Wellness Wednesday, and we did have a wonderful time, lots of information, and we did benefit. Any final words you want to say to us, Dr. K, to somebody who may just be having a question in their mind? I eat late at night, and I don't want to stop eating late at night like Mikey G. How do we manage this process and don't and go through the process of not having acid reflux, or in this sense we don't want to get GERD. That's what.
So, for persons who have acid reflux or don't want to get acid reflux, try to eat smaller meals. Try to have your dinner earlier if you're going to be eating at night, not lying down after meals. And if you do have reflux, try to lie on your left side, because basically you're not putting your esophagus, the sphincter, underneath. You're basically submerging it at top. Reduce your abdominal pressure. So try to wear loose fitted clothes, okay, and lose weight, because obesity, as I told you, will help. And these are short-term and long-term changes. quit smoking, drinking, and you can take medication. If you're notice you're having GERD, especially at nights, try to stand up. Gravity is always on your side and will always help to bring back the food contents back in your stomach. And taking a sip of water is always good. So if you're just having reflux, whether it's chronic or even occasionally, taking a sip of water will help to bring back the contents in your stomach and clear your esophagus of the acidic content of your stomach. And as I say, wear loose clothes, wear loose fitting clothes. You know, those people have to have all these tight waistbands, loosen them and it will actually help, because when you have on these tight clothes, basically you're increasing your abdominal pressure and pushing back the contents in your esophagus. Okay, but as I say, there are a number of things that you can do. You don't want to stop eating at night or eat a smaller meal.
All right. Not eating late. Mikey G, you're here talking about eating late. Try not to do that. And of course, no, don't eat right before you go to bed and lie down. And we have heard so many things. Very informative this morning. Thank you, Dr. K, for joining us.
Did you look at it? Did you look at the chat this morning? Please look at the chat. Don't just go away. You're looking at the chat. I'm just saying, Dr. Michael G says that it must swim every morning.
Somebody just said that water and beach swim every morning. Advice from Dr. Michael G.
Well, you know.
I want to say good morning to the lady Lisa this morning. She's gearing up for her boat cruise this weekend. So if you want to release some stress.
Yes, swimming. And you know what? Some good music while you see the water passing by. The boat, I went on the boat cruise a couple of years, and Dr. K, I'm telling you, we had a wonderful time on the Rock the Boat cruise, right in the Grand Cayman, where we went cruising across from Georgetown all the way to the eastern side of the island. Stop a little, in the middle there and have a little vibe, and it was a nice thing. Have a meal, for those, I went on. They're nice. They're just nice. And I tell you, it is just relaxing. And I think it's something that you need to be doing. That's happening next week, I understand. On the 3rd?
It's this weekend. So understand.
Wow.
We're going to share the information. We're going to share the information so you can get your tickets if you haven't done so already. But I want to say thank you to Dr. K. As usual, you always bring the relevant topics. When I think that there are so many things that Dr. K has spoken about, then she brings something center of attention, something that will be beneficial to us all. Thank you again, Dr. K, and I hope that everybody will be well as a result of this discussion this morning.
Well, as I understand, tight clothes is now a part of the medical journal. I'm not aware. Thank you, Dr. K. Have yourself a beautiful one. And of course, today has been a Wellness Wednesday with a difference.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Welcome back, welcome back. It is Wellness Wednesday, and of course, a very special edition of the Breakfast Hour. And we will share with you a few things that are happening. It's election day right here in the Cayman Islands, 19 districts. And of course, the stations have been open since 7 a.m. and will be closed at 6 p.m. Now, the electoral districts are West Bay North, West Bay West, West Bay Central, West Bay South, Georgetown North, Georgetown Central, Georgetown West, Georgetown South, Georgetown East, Red Bay, Prospect, Savannah, Newlands, Bottomtown West, Bottomtown East, North Side, East End, Cayman Brac West, and Little Cayman and Cayman Brac East. So persons are actively, and I've been informed that there are persons already out at the polling stations casting their votes. And so we'll try to make contact with one or two of such individuals and get an idea of what the atmosphere is like on the ground. But right here, it's a public holiday right here in the Cayman Islands. And of course, without further ado, after the election, I know you would like to go have a little relaxation. And so we mentioned the boat cruise, which will be coming on the weekend. And of course, we'll share that information with you. It's May 3rd, 2025 at the Yacht Club. That's where they're sailing from, Yacht Club West Bay. And of course, DJ Rollers will be there. And of course, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, it's not too late. It's calling number 929-710-9. Let me make sure I have that number correct because, I want to be correct with the information. 929-7109. Call that number if you've not yet gotten your tickets.
The boat cruise comes up this weekend, and I'm telling you, it's going to be something exciting to be on. Yeah, like I said before, I did have the pleasure of doing the first one and the second one, and of course the third one, and I think we're going to be doing all the ones over time. Of course, Flashpoint has been present for this boat cruise from inception until now. And of course, for those who have not gone out yet, please get yourself ready. Just jump out there and just buy the ticket, get on board, and enjoy a cruise with a difference. And the third, this weekend, Saturday evening, I understand.
Yes, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful one. And of course, looking forward to see everybody out and relaxing and enjoying and having a good time. But also today is election day, and of course I know that persons are out and about, but while you're out and about, I just want to share with you something that's also happening right here in the Cayman Islands. I'm just trying to pull that up for you so that you'll be able to participate in that one. And I know it's something to look forward to.
Election.
For great food, great deals, and a great cause, then don't miss the car boot sale and fish fry hosted by the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church, happening Wednesday, April 30 from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Airport Park. Enjoy mouth-watering fish and other tasty treats, plus browse a wide range of household items, clothes, books, and more, all at unbeatable prices. Best of all, every purchase supports the Manna Foundation, bringing hope and help to those in need.
Wednesday, April 30, from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the airport park. Come early, bring a friend, and be a blessing while you shop and eat. Join us, the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church, where faith meets community.
Where faith meets community will be today, yeah? Denise?
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
quite,
It's
and
something.
of course,
We
that's
will be
quite.
there. We are already there. We are there and here. We're there and here.
Yes,
So come
yes.
on down. Come on, support something wonderful. Support the Manor Foundation. So much is happening, but you gotta support everything, and the blessings will come up. We just go and just enjoy. So if you're already out voting and you're done, I mean, I'm gonna just be hearing here.
Well, as I said before, if you are going to be going by the airport park where the fish fry is going on and the boot sale is going on, it's happening right there, right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And please come on down and enjoy. Of course, Flashpoint will be there keeping the vibes and the energy going, and of course giving you some different feels and getting you going and enjoying an election day with a difference while you support the Ebenezer SDA Church with their Manor Foundation building and their building drive this morning.
All right. So, and if you're listening and you're not sure where to go vote, remember you can log on to the website elections.ky. That's the official website of the electoral office here in Grand K. 19 districts represented. Last week we had members of the Caymanian Community Party right here. I guess everyone, of course, certainly looking forward to hear what the results will be, and we will certainly be keeping our finger on that pulse. Of course, that will be. There's a long line of people waiting
to vote. But this evening is going to be very disappointing.
That's information that I've gotten on the ground. A long line of people waiting patiently. So it's important that persons are letting their voices be heard, and that's important. So we will hear later on in the day and this evening what is going to be happening, the announcement, and certainly we hope to be a part of that to hear when the announcement is actually made, who will be leading Cayman Islands forward. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, they are also voting, registering their vote at the poll stations today.
Well, I know that many persons will be disappointed and many persons will be happy at the same time, in the same breath. While they say that while one man is happy, another one is sad. But then nevertheless, for those who did not plan to go to vote because they don't know which one to choose, and all of them corrupt, whatever you get, you have already chosen by not choosing, you have already chosen. And so we have to know that you must go out and try to make a choice. You have to find the best choice. In fact, I always look at it this way: I make the best choice from the worst. And so if that's the case, you feel in your mind that's what you're doing, but you must do something, because if you did not choose, do not be the ones who complain about bad governance when it occurs. Because you do not have a voice, because you did not place a mark. So shut up, keep quiet, and say nothing, and accept whatever you get. So I'm advising you, if you have a choice, go and make that choice. Whatever choice it is, it's the right choice for you. I don't care which one you make, but do not come back and say, I did not vote for none of them, and having complained. Nobody wants to hear you at all. Shut up. That's what I would say. Please, don't. I just offer an advice to someone, and here's what I'm saying. I'm offering this advice to you because, Michael G, I'm not using them, so I can give them to you.
Alright, so I just learned that tickets are also available at Funky Tongue for the boat cruise. So if you have not called the number, Funkytown also has your tickets there. No, I just want to remind the viewers and listeners, if you're in the Cayman Islands and you're not sure where in Georgetown to go to register your vote, of course, um, Georgetown North would be Georgetown Primary School, and Georgetown Central, Georgetown Town Hall, and Library as well. Georgetown West, the Cayman Prep School, Georgetown South, John Gray High School. Of course, the stations are open from as early as 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. I understand that voters were in line from as early as 6:30, and certainly we'll be hearing at the end of the day what the people, what they have
But
said.
there are some
Voices must be heard.
There's some questions that are on the table for the people to answer this election they release the referendum, and one of those many things that they are going to be answering is whether or not cannabis is going to be a part of the society. Small amounts, not the large shipments of it, but
Yes.
we're talking about ganja, marijuana, the good sensi weed, the Cali weed, the various names of
I cannot, Mikey G. I am just like, cannot.
yeah. So we are going to be looking at this as a part of it, because there is, when you look at criminalizing and decriminalizing, what does it really mean for decriminalization of this drug in a small quantity? What does that really mean, though, when you think about this?
What does it mean?
That's a referendum. That's what we'll be voting on today. Persons will say yay for marijuana, small portions, what you call medically amount. I have a medical problem. I need to smoke weed in the morning, 7 o'clock.
No. It's not about smoking. The medical one is actually supplied. It's used for treating of other issues. They have the oils and
That's
so
what I'm
forth.
saying. The guys who do the ganja thing, they have the thing, the ashile and all these things. They have all these oils. They made them already. There's a new set of oils that people are making now.
And smoking is not one of the options.
Smoking the herb. Yeah, I'm sorry, not the herb. Yeah. Smoking.
You know what? It's time for the news. It is time for the news.
It is
time
I would
for the
say,
news.
what are some of the names that we call ganja? I'm sorry, cannabis.
It is time for the news.
One of the many names is hemp. I remember back in the early 70s, F70s, the ganja and 80s, there was a lot of people in Jamaica cutting down all the ganja plants, right? And then when we realized in the United States and other parts of the world, there's some hemp fields, big ganja plantations, where in these places. And they say it's for medicine. So the guys didn't plant it in Jamaica for medicine, they planted it for, I don't know, recreational purposes. Anyways, let's look at this matter. Alright, there's one more item on the news. The birthing facility that is Cayman, the cruise birthing facility is another one. It says it will yield at least $300 million in revenues if come to fruition. And so this is something that Cayman is actually looking at. But in the local market, people are saying that they're going to be losing jobs left, right, and center based on their career choice, or the jobs surrounding cruise shipping or cruise intake, where they are part of this big tourist package. And so this is what's happening right now, ladies. People are saying we don't want the boat cruising facility, but here's 300 million versus, I don't know what the downside of that. But I think times life is like this. There was once just trains, and now there are planes. So I don't know. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for clearing the air, Mikey G. Cleared it. And no, it's actually time for the news. And remember, we are also part of the Car Boots Fish Fry happening right here at the airport. So we plan to perhaps share highlights of that as well as what is happening on the ground. So stay connected via our web radio. Yes, if we are not live here where you can see us, we are live on radio. That's www.flashpointmedia.ky. A question came in that we need to ask Dr. K whether milk can be used instead of water for reflux, and certainly we will send a question over to her as well so that she can address all the questions, clear the air, and we can certainly have a conversation. So on that note, Mikey G, it's a news time.
Also a reminder that tickets can be for the boat cruise we found at Funky Tangs right in the Grand Cayman. For those who are going on the boat cruise, guys, Funky Tangs have tickets. Please go out and purchase your ticket early before Saturday evening comes, because you can't get on the boat. If you go there, you will get on, but you might have to pay a little higher cost. I'm not sure. I'm just making that one up as I go. Alright, thank you guys for joining us this morning for this edition of the Breakfast Hour. Of course, our news is next, right here on Flashpoint.
And these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm Corley Karen. Jungle Bar and Duke's close after sale of Trafalgar Place. Several well-known businesses on West Bay Road are closing their doors or relocating following the sale of Trafalgar Place. Jungle Bar, Duke's Seafood and Rib Shack, Meals on Wheels, and Cayman Turtle Divers are among those asked to vacate the premises by April 30. The new owner, Kai Finance, has not yet disclosed redevelopment plans. Meals on Wheels has already moved to a temporary location in Industrial Park and hopes to secure final approval for a new permanent home next month. Government approves $11.1 million in extra spending ahead of elections. Newly released cabinet minutes show the government approved an additional $11.1 million in spending during two meetings in February and April. Funds were allocated to departments such as Education, Home Affairs, Sports, and Communications. The Cabinet also approved coastal works permit for docks and swim holes across the island, along with land purchases including property in Cayman Brac. Final political rallies ahead of the general election. With the general election underway, Cayman's political parties made their final appeals to voters. The Cayman Islands National Party and Caymanian Community Party hosted rallies last night in Georgetown. The Progressives will hold their rally tonight. Campaign materials. Privy Council rules permanent residency system is constitutional. The UK's Privy Council has upheld the Cayman Islands points-based permanent residency system, ruling it does not violate human rights. This reverses a Cayman Court of Appeal declaration from last year. The judges concluded that while permanent residence can be denied, the law allows cabinet discretion to prevent deportation in cases that may breach family life rights under the Bill of Rights. CUC and regulator clash over power plans. A heated dispute has erupted between CUC and the utilities regulator OFREG over Cayman's power generation future. OFREG approved CUC's request for more fossil fuel capacity, citing licensing violations in alternative proposals. CUC claims the decision burdens consumers and delays renewable energy. Industry observers blame CUC's past resistance to third-party solar as a root of current grid challenges. Fulbright scholarship applications open for 2026-2027. Over in Jamaica, citizens can now apply for the prestigious Fulbright Foreign Students Program for graduate studies in the U.S. The U.S. Embassy in Kingston encourages applicants with strong academic records, leadership potential, and a commitment to national development. Applications close May 30, 2025. Visit jm.usembassy.gov for more information. Win Air boosts airlift to Montserrat. Finally, regional airline Win Air has confirmed it will continue flights between Saint Martin and Montserrat following successful trial runs earlier this year. A structured schedule is being put in place to improve travel for residents, visitors, and businesses alike. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Continue to stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Welcome back. It is Wellness Wednesday, and what a morning we have been having. If you are joining for the very first time, we welcome you. We also ask you to give us a thumbs up, give us a like, share, and we do appreciate your comments. Now, we want to say to you as we head out of studio that we hope that you'll have a wonderful day. If you are in the Cayman Islands and you're eligible for voting, please go ahead and find your polling stations and be there. The polling stations are open until 6 p.m. today. So far, it's a smooth running. I've been checking from the official sources. And if you need further information, of course, log on to elections.ky. And just a reminder, Ebenezer also, they are hosting their car boot and fish fry right here at the airport park. And they are on the ball. So come on down on your way to the polling station, or if you're just not eligible for voting, please support this worthy cause. All proceeds go toward the Manna Foundation.
Yeah. Support. Get out of your houses, get up and go. Of course, you know that, generally, when they talk about holidays, guys who are in construction and these things, they don't have these holiday things going on,
I know.
As bees. So, for those who are having the holidays and saying, oh, I'm off, but you're the government worker, you're working for another company, but these construction guys, man, yeah, busy all the time, always got to go on the go. So I want to say, while you're out working, if you're on the job, come back, get some fish from the Ebenezer team, and go back to work. That's what's going on.
And of course, I have to share something very important happening. Thursday is the launch of our Keeping It Real Flash Talks. You'll hear exactly what it's called, but we'll be keeping it real and we'll be having a conversation about customer service. What is it and what do we expect? We have a very vibrant team. Our panelists here will be joining the discussion, and you cannot afford to miss that one. It's 7 p.m. tomorrow, right here live on Flashpoint. Tune in anywhere you are. We'll be on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We'll be everywhere. So you have no excuse. And of course, via our web radio, www.flashpointmedia.ky. We'll be talking about the real issues that affect us. And of course, our debut tomorrow, 7 p.m., right here, live on Flashpoint.
Of course, this also the show notes to our regular persons on the street, everybody, our VIP members who are across the globe, wherever you are. We'll put it in the chat. In the US, we'll put it in the Grand K. We'll put it in the UK. We'll put it across the globe. All these chats will have you. We'll make sure that you are part of this conversation or these conversations that we have. I have quite a few topics that I'd like to talk. They are very sensitive topics. The ones that are taboos and the ones that nobody wants to talk about. We want to have a conversation about them. And let's see what your feedback would be like on those thoughts. Give us your thoughts and of course what you think about it. But you can be a part of these programs. Please, when we send it out, just identify, just say that I want to be a part of the program, and then of course you will be a part of it. So you'll get this information coming out to you later on today into tomorrow, so you'll have the chance to be a part of this program as they go forward. And so we have come to the end of our program this morning. At least it has been a minute, yes? Well, I think today has been extra special. It's election day right in the Grand Cayman Islands. As I said before, some persons will be going home happy, and some will definitely be sad. I'm not sure who you want to be your governor, your ruling party. And the last time they tried to use we tried to use a coalition government. Are we going to see a coalition government anytime soon, ladies? I'm not.
We'll definitely find out more about what it is, because it's going to be somewhat of a very close competition. I don't know if there will be a majority or it will end up being a coalition, but certainly we are looking and we are checking out what's happening, and we will be definitely keeping our fingers right there on the pulse to share what's happening right here.
Well, I'm going to go back to say I don't want to be a party. But I'm going to say, I don't think a coalition government will come back for this election. I think the last try on that, I'm just saying, this is my opinion, my video opinion, not necessarily those of Flashpoint. But I don't think they're going to come back with a coalition government again. I don't know. For me, I don't see that happening. It's like saying, I see this happen one time and too many moving parts occurred within that idea. It was a good attempt though, I would say, but a few things didn't sit well with a lot of persons, and it was a lot of things that went on that didn't really make it become what it ought to be. So for me, looking at what happened the last time and thinking about how people are feeling, I'm looking at it. I think people are going to go for a party, one of the parties, instead of going for what you call an independent persons, and then all of them come together without any clear leader that then will pick and choose which leader they want at any single time of the day, in the year, and stuff like that. I don't think that will happen twice, and not so quickly. Maybe in 10 years, maybe. I don't know. All right. Having said that, let's take us out of here. Let's get out.
Yes, so I would say have yourself a wonderful day. May the Lord bless you abundantly, more than you can ever think, ask, or imagine. It has been a wonderful morning. I certainly hope that you'll have a wonderful day. Remember, we are given this time now, here and now. Let's maximize it. Use it to our best of our ability. Let's share positive vibes. Let's be loving, kind, and of course, a source of encouragement to those around you. Have yourself a wonderful day. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, right
And of
here.
course, I want to say good luck to Minister Sabrina Turner this morning in her re-election and being a part of the government. I just want to give her a thumbs up this morning, and of course, big up. You know, we're just looking at persons who we think can really do something for humanity. And so this morning, IPG says, over and out. Have yourself a good day. Remember, keep it locked right here on Flashpoint Radio, right here in the Grand Cayman. Go to www.flashpointmedia.ky and go to the web radio, Flashpoint's web radio that goes globally. Only in the Cayman Islands and across the world, we talk about issues, and today we're talking about election. Catch us with some of the topics and some of the things that we were talking about, and later on we'll give some highlights on how the election is going and what to expect later on. Have yourself a God bless.
Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky.
Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized